Okay, brothers and sisters, let us pay respect to Ajahn by bowing 3 times. Krab, krab, krab. We will now begin by requesting for the 3 precepts, 3 refuge and 5 and 8 precepts.
We do
Please
the
recite
chanting.
after me. Mayang Bante,
Wait, chanting first.
Ti Saranena Saha,
Chanting.
Pancha Silani Yachama, Dutiyampi, Mayang Bante, Ti Saranena Saha, Pancha Silani Yachama, Tatiyampi, Mayang Bante, Ti Saranena Saha, Atta Pancha Silani Yachama.
Good afternoon. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Tutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Tutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Tutiyampi Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Saranakamanang nititaṃ.
Okay.
Pānātipātā veramani sikkhapaдаṃ samadhiyāmi.
Samadhiyami.
Adinnathānā veramani sikkhapadaṃ samadhiyāmi.
Adinadana Mani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Kāmesu miccācārā veramani sikkhapadaṃ samadhiyāmi.
Kāmesu Mecchāchāra Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadaṃ samadhiyāmi.
Musāvādā Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Surāmeraya maccapamātatthānā veramani sikkhapadaṃ samadhiyāmi.
Surameraya Majjapamadattana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
So now this is for the 8th preceptor. Abrahmacari veramani sikkhapadaṃ samadhiyāmi.
Abrahmacariya veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Kālapośana veramani sikkhapadaṃ samadhiyāmi.
Vikara bhojana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
ตคีตวัทิตวิสุกทัสสนามาราคันทะวิเลปนะธารณะมันดนะวิภูสนัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปตังสมาธิยามิ
นาจากีตาวริตาวิสุกาทัสสนะมารากันตาวิเดปานะดารณะมันดนะวิบูสานาทานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กาสยนะมหาสยนาเวรมณีสิกขาปตังสมาธิยามิ
อุจจาสยนะมหาสยนะเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
มานิปัญจอัฏฐสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิ
อิมานิอัตถาสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอัตถาสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอัตถาสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิ
สีเลนะสุปฏิยันติสีเลนะโภคสัมปทาสีเลนะนิพพุติยันติตัสสมาสีลังวิโสทะเย
Sadhu, sadhu. Let us pay respect to Ajahn by bowing 3 times again. Wow. Wow. Wow.
So today we will do some chanting first. So people have the chanting sheet. Okay. So we'll start with this first Karaniyametta Sutta, the Buddha words of loving kindness. So we will do the Pali first and then do translation. Okay, so do together. Now let us chant the Buddha verse on loving kindness. Karaniyamatha kusalena yantang santang patang abhisameja sakko uchu ja suhuchu ja suwajo ja suanantu santus ja suparo ja appakicco ja sanlahukavuttiสันตินทริโยจานิปโกจาอัปปะคัพโพกุเลสุอนันุคิทโธนาจะคุดทั้งสมาจเรกินจิเยนวินยูปะเรอุปวัฏเทยุงสุขิโนวาเคมิโนโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาภวันตุสุขิตาตาเยเกจิปานโพตัดจิตสาวาทาวราวาอนาวเสสาธิคาวาเยมหันตาวามัชฌิมารัสสกะอนุกทุราทิทาวาเยจะอทิฏฐาเยจะทุเรวสันติอวิทุเรภูตาวาสัมภเวสีวาสัพเพสัตตาภวันตุสุขิตาตานัปโรปรังนิกุเพทะนันติมันเยทะกัตถจินังกินติพยาโรสนะปฏิฆสัญญานัญญมัญญัสสทุกมิจเฉยมาตายธานิยังปุตตังอายุสาเอกปุตตมนุรักเขเอวัมปิสัพพภูเตสุมาณสัมภาวะเยอปริมาณังเมตัญจะสัพพโลกัสมิงมาณสัมภาวะเยอปริมาณังอุทธังอโทจติริยัญจะอสัมภาทังอเวรังอสปัตตังติทันจรังนิสินโนวาสยาโนยาวตัสสวิคตมิตโตเอตังสติงอทิฏฐิยพรหมเมตังวิหารังอิทธมาหุทิทินจาอนุปคัมมสีลวาทัสสเนนะสัมปันโนกาเมสุวินัยยะเคทังนะหิชาตุคัพพะเสยยังปุณเรติติ So we do the translation. Now let us chant the Buddha words on loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing, that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. What let none deceive one another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harms upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading ours to the skies and ours to the depths, ours and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being free from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Okay, next one. Sharing an aspiration. Han Tamayang Vatisana Ditana Kata Yo Panama Se Imina Punya Kamena Upachaya Kunutara Ajariyo Pagara Jamata Pita Jayataka Suriyo Jantima Racha Kunahwanta Narapija Brahma Maharaja Intaja Lokapala Tevata Ya Mohita Manusa Machatta Verika Pija Sabhe Satta Sukhi Hontu Punyani Pakatani Me Sukhan Jati Vitang Tentu Kipang Pape Tavo Matang Imina Punya Kammena Imina Uttisena Ja Kipa Hang Surape Jewa Tan Upatana Shetanang Ye Santane Hina Dhamma Yawa Nibbana To Mamang Nasantu Sappada Yewa Yatta Chato Pave Pave Uchu Chitang Sati Panya Sanlekho Viriyam Hina Mara Lapantu Noka Sangka Tunca Viriye Sume Puttha Thipa Varo Nato Dhammo Nato Varuttamo Nato Pajjeka Puttho Ca Sangkho Nato Taro Mamang Te Sotammanuphavena Maroka Sanglapantu Ma. Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspirations. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, May my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge, unsurpassed is the protections of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. So next one is reflections on universal well-beings. หันธรรมยังเมตตาภรนังกโรมาเสอาหังสุขิโตโหมินิทุกโขโหมิอเวโรโหมิอัพพยาปัจโชโหมิอานิโคโหมิสุขีอัตตานังปริหารามิสัพเพสัตตาสุขิตาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอเวราโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอัพพยาปัชชาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาสัพพทุกขปมุญจันตุสัพเพสัตตาลัทธสัมปติโตมาวิคัจฉันตุสัพเพสัตตากัมมัสสกากัมมทายาทากัมมโยนิกัมมพันธุกัมมปฏิสารนายังกัมมังกริสันติกัลยาณังวาปาปะกังวาตัสสะทายาทาภวิสันติ Now let us chant the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained when they act upon intention. All beings are the owners of their actions and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such actions, and its results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts, they will be the heirs.
สาธุสาธุสาธุ
น
Brahma Jaloka Hikpakti Sahang Pakti Kahatan Jalian Hikwak Ayajakha Santi Kaksakta Pakrakja Kakjapika Hese Putang Mang Anukang Pikmang Pakjang
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังคุณัตรังอุปัชฌายังนัมสสามิ
สาธุสาธุ
Okay, so good morning again, everybody. So today is again the Fridays and also is Uposatha Day. We call it Mahapavarana Day, the last day of the rain. So this is the ending of the three month determination to stay in the Vasa. So today there will be the activity called the Mahapavarana, meaning that we invite, as monks, we invite other monks to criticize or point whatever wrongdoing in the past 3 months that we stayed together. Actually, it's every Uposatha Day, every full moon or no moon day is called Pavarana Day. It's an invitation. But this today is called Maha, which means great. It's a great invitation because normally we do it in private, like we just make it just one by one. We ask for, okay, if you see anything in the past 2 weeks, anything that you see me doing wrong, then please point out to me so I can make correction. But today is the last day of the rain. Is a gathering of just doing that. Basically, that's why it's called Mahapavarana, because we say it loudly in the public, like for invitation for people to point out, and this is the way of improving ourselves. So that's why it's called Mahapavarana. It's a great invitation for criticism or anything that we can use to improve ourselves. Because it's very difficult for us to, sometimes we think everybody have blind spot where we not see that as a wrongdoing, and we are used to that. But when you live close to somebody, then if that is your friend, then they can point out to you in such a way that you can make improvement. So this is the noble way, the Arya, how we can help each other to progress in this teaching of the Buddha. They are saying that the mirror, the most beautiful mirror is your friend's eyes. Basically, they can see what is good and what is bad in you, and they can point out with kind heart, want you to be better, so they can help you with that. So this special day is that's why it's called Invitation Day. Normally we will do the Patimokkha. It's almost 45 minutes long chanting, but only this day there will be, instead of doing the Patimokkha chanting, we do the invitation. So we will ask for anybody who want to give any feedback to us. So this is the Vinaya is in the rule as a monk. Our purpose is to purify our body, speech, and mind. And the fact that we are living together for 3 months, that more or less sometimes we might be in contact with each other. We might see something wrong with other people, and we can have a chance to point out, and everybody can have a chance to make correction, and we will go our way with no sense of remorse or sense of regret that we did this and that. We just try to do it in the better than the last time we do it, so we have a chance to improve ourselves. I think this is a very nice tradition that even as a lay people, this day is this spirit of feedback. Sometimes I think sometimes we not really pay attention to it so much. This day with this kind of social media, it's good for us to very quick to point out the wrong in other people, but they might not want to hear that, and it doesn't usually work. Then people don't want to hear that, and then you point what they should do. They shouldn't do this, they should do that. Then it's they're not change much, and for you as well, it doesn't make you feel better by looking at other people's fault. So it have to always come from that person first. Okay, I want to hear the feedback, and then you can give the feedback, keeping in mind that before you give any feedback, first of all you have to look at your mind first. Okay, first thing is that in that particular rules or that particular training precept, make sure that you are pure first. But if you're not pure, then it's no point of going criticize other, because you're not able to do it. How can you be helpful? So you should look in yourself first. In this matter, do I pure in that? Do I able to be free from all the offense in this rule? Just these particular rules, and then you should set your mind that I will say already the fact, what you see, what you hear, or whatever, and what do you think is maybe not in line with the Vinaya. You can point out that, not to point out that you are the bad person or this and that, but just point out at the action, that verbal action, that bodily action, why it's not in line with the Vinaya, and then you have a chance for that person to see whether it's true or not. If it's true, then you can talk about it, why, and then maybe he or she might ask you, okay, how can I do it better? Because since you pure in that, so you can have a feedback. Yeah. Why don't you do it like this? How can I keep that rule pure? Then you can have that kind of helpful suggestion. So you have to keep your mind in the metta first. You are friend with them. And I think it's very important. You're not enemy. Try to basically make a criticism that ruin other people's reputation or make them look bad or whatever. You want them to improve. So that is the thing that you have to keep in mind. You pure, you have the metta, you have loving kindness, and you use the right speech. You ask permission first. May I give the feedback? And that person have to give permission. Yeah, I'm ready to listen. And now you give it with metta, with the polite word, and with truth, strict to the truth, what is real, what is true, and what is not. And then with that mutual understanding, then both can progress along this line. So this is the spirit of the Pavarana, which is today most of the monastery will perform this ritual sooner or later during the day. So in order to finish the vasa, So that is the way before people are usually live their own way. The Vassa time is 3 months, is a time where the senior monks will have a chance to give a teaching without going anywhere. They can stay in the monastery. But after the rain, then the last month of the rain is usually the time to find the requisite. Somebody who have the old ropes, they will have to try to find a piece of ropes to make new ropes or to mend the old one. So that become the Katina festival. Katina means the cloth, the cloth that put on the wooden frame for sewing. So the last month there will be the Katina festival. If you are familiar with that, it's a lot of traveling. So a chance of monks to visit other monastery and to help with the preparation for Katina. So it's like one time of the year where you become host. You try to tidy up the monastery, make sure that everything is in order, and receiving the people coming to the monastery to support the monastery. And in Wat Pho Phong tradition, if you have monks more than 5, then you're allowed to have the Katina. So like for me, then tomorrow I will go back to my monastery in Ubon and to help with the Katina, to be part of the activity of basically try to receiving a cross and then sew it in one day before the next dawn for it to be fulfilled as a Katina robes. So this is a time for the Buddhists will be enjoying time. It's traveling time. Usually the ending of the rain season, the rice starts to be yellow all over the field, and people are enjoying the harvest of those things. So it's a festival time. Katina is the beginning of that end of the rain and beginning of the winter season. Okay, so that's a tradition in Buddhist country. So even now we live 2,500 or more years, we still have that traditions of monastic interaction with the community and become the good example. Katina is a day of harmony. It's called Samakhi. The people come together to make piece of ropes. The lay people also join in. In the old days, it's very difficult to find the rope, so lay people have to help. Sometimes they also doing their own katina as well, meaning that they pick up the cotton and spin the thread and make it into rope in one day as well, and then hand it over to the monk. And then the next day, monk will do the monk's katina, soil, dye it, and then cut it, and all these things. So this is a kind of fun times, and it's also almost like you can call it graduation times. Some of the monks who ordained for 3 months, then it's not easy keeping the celibacy and all this rule. So it's like, okay, you've done the job. You have been doing okay for the 3 months, and now time for you to decide whether you want to live the monastic life. You have enough training, or you want to continue on to go to the maybe next year or so. So this is a time for people. Sometimes they go for tudong, meaning that they go wandering in the forest, because the young monk usually is difficult to stay in one place. So you have to let them use their energy a bit. So the winter time is a good time for walking tudong, to go and carrying just a mosquito net with you, and you can sleep anywhere you like and just enjoy the freedom of being the monks. So many monks I know able to survive the first year with Tudong because they start to live the monk life as the time of the Buddha. In the 3 months, you stay in the monastery, you learn the rules, but you haven't put it into practice that much because everything is within boundary. Everybody help you with keeping the precept. But now when you have to walk, you have to face many difficulty how to keep the precept with still walking and all that. So it's a very nice time to put all your book knowledge into the practice. So a lot of monks are able to continue on and maintain their monk's life longer than 1 year, maybe go to the next year and next year like that, and then before long they're enrolled for 10 or more years. So this is the kind of the beautiful traditions of being monastic and able to devote our time and energy in terms of purify our body, speech, and mind, and to progress along the path of the Buddha. Okay, so today I maybe continue on the certain question that I left from last time. There's questions about. Okay, the first one is about what are the 10 meritorious deeds? Can Ajahn elaborate on them? Okay, so the question is about 10 meritorious deeds. I think it's in Pali that we call the kusala pada, and they translate as deeds, meritorious deeds. But there's another translation of kusala kamma pada, KAMMA แล้วก็ PATHA, kusala kamma pada. So I think the deed is a little bit not so accurate when you translate this word. Kammapada, I like the translation of P.A. Payutto. He said he used the word of the cause of action, the wholesome cause of action. I think it's more suitable. Kammapada is a cause of action. Actually, in Pali, they have a sense of this kammapada is mean that what is different between kamma and kammapada? Kamma is action. The action has a consequence we call vipaka. But the kammapada here in the wholesome kammapada is have a technical meaning of that. It means that this action can make you reborn in the next life. If it's wholesome action, then you'll be reborn in the good destination, either human or the deva, the different level of deva and human beings. So that's why it's so special about kammapada. Because every kamma they will have a vipaka, they will have a result, but some might not be enough to make you reborn. Maybe that intensity of the kamma or whatever that type of kamma is not enough. It can be effect once you already get born. It can make better. Maybe make you, if you do some wholesome, it will you born in that certain place, then you have wealth and you'll be healthy, you'll be wealthy or whatever. But the action may not be enough for you to take birth. But when you say the kammapada, technical meaning of that is that particular action, if it appears before your death, just a moment before you death, and you just happen to recall this kammapada, it can take you to the next destination according to that kamma. For example, if it's a kusala kamma, the kusala cause of action, the first one is panatipata veramani, refraining from killing, refraining from harming others. So that if it I think we talk about the unwholesome first. Maybe easy because wholesome may be difficult. The unwholesome is easy because it have a definition. Say for example, the unwholesome akusala kammapada. The first one is killing, panatipata, killing living beings. So if you have that fulfilled, that's called factor of killing. First, that living being have to be alive. Second, you know that being is being alive, and then you have intention to kill, and then you make effort from that intention, and then that beings die from that action. So you see that factor have to come together. If you lack any of those, it will not call akusala kammapada. But if you have everything, if that living beings is alive, and you know that it's alive, you want to kill, and you make effort from that thought of killing, and that living being die from your action, then it's all the factors come together. Then that means that you break this precept, and that also kammapada. That means if that particular action, that karma, arise in your mind before you pass away from this life, when you born from that action, you will be reborn in the basically bad destination, either hell, or usually they will say hell first, and then when that action is weakened, then you'll be born in like animal or whatever. And once you born, you can also make whatever next life you have short life. You not have the whole full lifespan. For example, the human beings now, the lifespan of human being now is about 75 years. So if you born from the if you have that akusala karma, then your life will be shorter, not living the full span of 75. Or you might have a lot of illness, sickness that manifest during that life. So that's why it's very important to know what is considered akusala kammapada. Basically, that's what we try to refrain when we take up the 5 precepts, that we are refrain from doing this unwholesome akusala kammapada. The course of action which will lead you to be born in hell or in animal realms or unfortunate beings existent. So that go with other rules as well. The stealing, you have to, that property have to have an owner, and you know that has an owner. You have intention to steal, and you make the effort to steal, and basically you move. The moment that you move that object is considered full. The course of action is completed, and then if you have to be reborn from that action, they'll, the next life, whatever property you have will not stay with you for so long. It will just perish in one way or the other, or you'll be have a bad reputation, other thing as well. So, but the main thing is to take the rebirth from you to go to the next state. So the unwholesome course of action, there's 10 of those. So you can see that is go in line with the 5 precepts. First one is killing, taking what is not given, commit sexual misconduct. These 3 things is called bodily action. And then we have the verbal action. I mean, telling lie, telling divisive speech, harsh speech, and gossiping or useless speech. So that's another 4 for the verbal action. And the last 3 is about mental action. It's greed, mind, and covetousness, think of harming or hurting other beings, and the last one is wrong view. So it's interesting in terms of the mental action. The mental action doesn't have much factor. It's just, for example, like the greed, they call covetousness. If you make the determination that this thing which is not belong to you, but you maybe say maybe your neighbor wife or whatever, and as you okay, I want to have her, even though you don't have that yet, but if you have that very greatly enough that you make the determination that I one way or the other I will have her, thing like that, it's already complete the mental course of action. It can send you to hell as well. So you have to be very careful. Also, the second one is like the thought of ill will. If you have a thought, may that person die, even though you not make any effort to kill that person yet. But if your mind is so fixed on, okay, I'm so hate that person. Every time I see that person, I wish them to go away, to die or whatever. That mental action is considered fulfilling the mental activity of unwholesome course of action. It can take you to hell if you born with that. If that thought arises during the death, before you about to die, they can go to hell as well. And also the wrong view. And the wrong view, like they will say, the wrong view is there no father, no mother, no this life, no next life. Basically, no being that spontaneous arise. There's 10 of those, which called the mundane right view. If you strongly believe that it's not the case, basically you deny totally the possibility of next life, the possibility of the spontaneous birth, called opapatika, or you deny the continuity of stream of consciousness from previous life to this life and to next life. If you say, oh yes, there's no way, it can't be true, and I'm pretty sure that it's not that, people just basically born out of nothing and will go to nothing, thing like that. If you strongly believe that not in the right field, in the mundane life field, then that thought alone can also take you to lower existence as well, to hell as well. So that's not the small thing. So we should pay attention to our view also. What are we really thinking? Because certain view, if you attach it strongly, that will lead you to bad destination as well, in terms of the technical term of this unwholesome. So that's why the 10 unwholesome course of action is one of the basic things you learn when you go to the monastery. Of course, when you taking up the precept, that what you do, you try to refrain from all these unwholesome course of action. Hopefully that when you do it repeated again and again, you will be able to purify your body, your bodily action, your verbal action, and your mental action. So you don't have to commit this course of action which is unwholesome and also can lead you to bad destination. So when you take the precept, when you're not doing the unwholesome action, what actually happens is that you develop the wholesome action. So it's the same thing basically. The fact that you refrain from unwholesome, you have to have certain thing. So you have to do the action that is opposite of unwholesome. In Thailand, when we say in Pali, when we recite the word in Pali, like I will refrain from killing or have somebody kill, or I will refrain from harming other living being or have somebody harm other living being. It's not just that. There's a second paragraph where you say, I will lead my life with loving kindness as my living principle. I think that's a beautiful way of doing it, because when you refrain from harming, hurting other beings, what you actually doing is that you lead your life as you use the metta and compassion as your guiding principle in your life. So you have a positive kind of things. Sometimes in psychology, you're not supposed to say what you don't do, because when you say this and that, the thing will pop up. So you program yourself. You say, I'm not gonna kill, then the word kill come, and then it's almost like you program yourself. So you have to refrain from yourself all the time to killing, but rather you should do it a positive word. Say loving kindness. Say this is my friend. I feel compassion toward living being. So when you have that installed in your program, basically you become compassionate person. You become loving person. So it's in no way that the loving person or the friend will harm or hurt your friend, right? So the same thing. So you should emphasize on the positive aspect. So that's why in the traditional chanting, we have those two sides. We refrain from killing, hurting other people. We're taking the loving kindness and compassion as my guiding principle. So it's good to do that as well. And you can do that internally, basically, because when you let go of one thing, what that actually cultivate is that the opposite quality is arising in your heart. The same as the second one, I'm refrain from taking what is not given. What is actually happening is I'm upholding the principle of basically truthfulness, not cheating, basically truthful or the sense of sincerity and not deceit. The third one is when I'm refrain from commit sexual misconduct. You are commit to the principle of contentment. Basically, you have enough with my spouse, and I will not play around and just stick with that. Use the cherishing the family values of being sincere to your spouse. The third one is when I refrain from false speech. So your guiding principle is want to uphold the truthfulness. I value the truth. So this kind of fake news and all those things, I will not be part of that. I will just verify with the truth, and we just use the word in the right way, not misinform other people. And then you refrain from the divisive speech. So what your principle is, I uphold the principle of harmony. I want the community to see each other with loving eye, not to divide community up for my gain. I think this day we are so in bad shape because people not really follow these rules of divisive speech, especially in the social media and things. Is something that they can sell their product by stimulate the hate and greed, hate and speech, and that's why they know this is cause your attention. When people hate somebody, they will look at more, and with that you lost this sense of harmony. So you try to uphold the integrity, the harmony of the community, because there's a foundation of the spiritual practice. If you live in the disharmony community, it's very difficult to practice. And then you uphold the I'm refrain from speaking harsh speech, coarse speech. Again, you try to be polite, in the manner of, it doesn't matter how bad that person is, but you respond it with the polite. You look in other people with you think that they are innocent before proving, because sometimes you jump ahead and think, oh, that person said this and that because they have very evil intention. Most of the time they're not. They just believe in that certain thing. Maybe their fact is different from your facts and their perspective is different. But very rare that people have very real evil intention. So first of all, you just come to common understanding. Maybe we want the same goal. We want to. Everybody want happiness and doesn't want suffering. But how to achieve that? Maybe people have different perspective. So first of all, we relate to each other with politeness. So that's how we build up the correlation or connection. And then the last one is refrain from gossiping, basically tale-bearing, the useless speech. So I already uphold the sense of essence, what is the meaningful when we communicate, what is a word that can bring meaningful conversation to the table, not basically to dilute all these things away and no essence coming from that. So this is the four area of the speech, the verbal. And the last three is about the greedy. So instead of greedy, you have the sense of basically renounce from this sensual pressure. See the danger of sensual pressure and renunciation. That's a positive. But the renounce is still not a positive. The renounce is like you have to renounce something. So you have to find another positive. Positive is like you enjoy in celebrate, the purity of the mind. The mind doesn't have to be bombarded with this different object, this sensual object, which is distracting. So the mind can remain peaceful and calm. So that's a positive. And also when you not basically ill will, not wish harm to other people, you arise the sense of, again, the loving kindness and compassion. And the last one is a wrong view. Of course, the positive of that is a right view, the view in line with the truth, with what the reality is. That the thing is changing, is suffering, is depend on cause and condition. So if you don't have any authority or mastery over things, because it will change according to the causes and condition. We may be part of it when we're able to change certain causes and condition. To a certain extent, we can, we can. That's why the concept of training, we have to have the master over our action, bodily action, verbal and action. That's why we can keep the precept. We have to have the mastery over how we think, what should we think. We have to have a choice, so we can train ourselves in terms of samadhi, concentration. So that is within that limit of being part of the causes and condition, and the wisdom arise while you see this cause and condition. But in the end, they're subject to changing, arising and passing away. This thing you can't, it's out of your control. You can't phrase that, I want to be this forever. No, because it's changing all the time because of causes and conditions. So in the end, it's not belonging to you. So you have to let go of that. But before that, you use that first. You use this body and mind to train yourself to understand it. When you understand it, then you let go of it. So that is the last step of letting go. So the keeping the ubosatha, the 8th precept is one of the wholesome course of action. This is one of the example of what is wholesome course of action, because you say not doing that, refrain from this, refrain from that, so what can we do? So okay, well, Uposatha, keeping the 8 precept is one thing that you can do, that for sure, that if you keep to the 8 precept, then consider the meritorious deed or the wholesome course of action. And again, if you read the sutta, either the god, the Sakka, king of Sakka, or the Jatu Maharaja, the 4 direction Deva, they also mention again and again that the fact that they born in that particular place is because they keep the Uposatha Sila. So this is part of that. And actually, there's one sutta saying that on this Uposatha day, there will be the king himself will come and basically survey how many people keeping the 8 precepts. If it's the half moon, if it's full moon day, then there will be the king himself. If it's half moon, then his son will come and check out. So they'll check out and they will report back to the heaven. Okay. Now how many people keeping the 8 precept? And if they find out, many people are interested to keep the 8 precept, they will be rejoiced in the heavens. Oh yeah, good. And that means in the future, our people will be born in heaven, so we will have more friends. It's good. But if people are not really interested in keeping 8 precept, they will feel, how the asura, the demons will prosper. The deva, the god will be low number because people not reborn in heaven. So this is, you can see as a metaphor or whatever, you can see it literally like that, or it's a metaphor, but in the end it's very important of how keeping the 8 precept will definitely bring you to the good destination. If they are the deva or the existence such that exists, then you'll be reborn there because you make a cause and condition to be reborn there. So this is the meaning of the wholesome course of action. The main purpose is to be reborn, actually. This thing, even before the Buddha time, they also exist. The fact that people come on the special day or the full moon or no moon day and keep the precept, it's all there. This is one of the very old traditions or lineage of people doing that. But in terms of the detail, may be different, I think. But the structure is there, because if you look at the wholesome course of action, all of those is a prerequisite even to be reborn as a deva or to be born as a Brahma. So even before the Buddha time, there are some people who are able to go to the forest. They live very simple life and they attain jhana. But of course, they have to keep this precept as well. So the 8 precept is for you can call the renunciate precept, the precept that you can turn more attention to your own mind to cultivate the seclusion, easier to do the samadhi, to do concentration. So that even before the Buddha time, people keeping the Uposatha precept. So you can see that remnant of that in other religions as well. Whether Christian or Islam, they have their tradition, maybe in detail will be different. But in Buddhism, this is very clear of what you do, what is a factor of that, why we do that. It's just perfectly matched. The fact that how that will be one of the factors of develop the Noble Eightfold Path, the path of the morality, the right action, right speech, right livelihood, which is the sila, and then you have the right feel and right thought or right intention as the wisdom, and then you develop the last 3, which is the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, which is when you put that eight together, it's become the Noble Eightfold Path. So this is very important. One of the thing that we can do, especially on the Vasattha day. So I really encourage you to keep the 8 precept, especially on this special day of One Pra. You got the extra bonus of this coming together and train yourself to be free from these sensual pressures that is try to be more and more overwhelmed, with this thing that we live in the sensual world. If we don't have the practice or the community that have see the danger of that, to be free from that, it's very difficult to try to do it ourselves. So, twice a month on the full moon day is a good opportunity to strive the effort and try to keep the 8 precept, and you can see that you to be more simple. You don't have to be waste much of the time and energy in much of this sensual world. So you can dedicate your time for practice easier. So that the meaning of wholesome and wholesome kusala kampada, the wholesome cause of action, and the unwholesome is the opposite of that. You can notice that in the wholesome cause of action, when you compare to the 5 precepts, the rules about drinking alcohol, intoxicant is not there. So sometimes people think why it's not in that in the kusala kammapada, the cause of action. I think because the sula, the intoxicant in itself is not basically breaking the precept yet. We call it apayamukha, a door toward decline. And a door is a doorway. So when you drink, you lose mindfulness, and when you lose mindfulness, you can break all of those precepts, above precept. There's other 4. So that's why they put it there particularly, but it's not in the kusala kammapada itself. Some teachers try to put it into the other rules, like basically sensual pressure, either the number 3 or whatever, but technically it's not there. But you can see that the rules of drinking, even in itself, it might not breaking, but you are most there when you lost your sati, you lost your sense of right and wrong. Then it's just a doorway. It's just a slippery slope. The next step you will be breaking other rules as well. So that's why they put it into the 5 precepts. So you can see that the main thing is the first 4, like the 5 precepts. The first 4 is very important. And the way I memorize it is that I think when the Buddha say something like in the category of 4, and you try to match that with the 4 foundation of mindfulness. So maybe you can try to match one by one. So in the 4 foundation of mindfulness, they have a Kayanupassana, the contemplation of the body, and then Vejananupassana of the feeling, Chittanupassana, contemplation of the mind, and then Dhammanupassana, contemplation of the Dhamma. And you can see that for me it's matched perfectly with the first 4 of the 5 precepts. Because precept is very gross, so you have to put it something very you can do it right away, and it's very gross. So like the killing is matched with the kaya basically, because it's a fundamental. When you have the body, then that is the kaya. So you can match that 2 and 2. And stealing, taking what is not given, is matched very well with the vedana, because when you take something that's not given, then you feel hurt, and that the whole thing usually involves the vedana of taking what is not given. And sexual misconduct is matched very well with the citta. When you have so many partner, so many girlfriend or boyfriend, your mind is basically very confused. So that when you want to keep peace of mind, then you have to keep this third precept pure, and to be even better if you refrain from altogether of this sexual misconduct, so your mind will be perfect and easier to learn. And the last one, musavada, the telling truth, is matched very well with Dhammanupassana, because when you speak, or when you will think about whether that's true or not, so you value the most the truthfulness. So the Dhamma is like that. The Dhamma is how can you it's somewhat your compass. If you have the integrity, if you are stuck to this truthfulness, then you have a moral compass very straight. So the same thing that the Dhamma go with the musavada. If you refrain from musavada, you'll be more in line with the Dhamma. But if you start to cheat and tell lie, then you also try to cheat yourself as well. So the worst thing is that you tell lie to yourself, you not even know it now. You believe in your own creation of the story. So that's why the Dhamma and the Musavada Veramani is in line. So if you match like me, then you see the importance of keeping the precept very much, because it go well with the mindfulness, and you need the mindfulness to keep your precept. If you don't have the mindfulness, you'll break your precept. And each rule the Buddha laid down is very, when you keep the first precept very well, the Kayanupassana is very strong. Vedana, second precept, Citta, third precept, and the Dhammanupassana, the fourth precept. So when you're able to match that, you see you are more eager to keep it, and then not only just one by one, but keep the whole package. Because when you have the mindfulness, you want to be mindfulness in all the area of the body's feelings, minds, and the Dhamma. All have to be around. So that is how we train it. First with the conduct, with the bodily and verbal conduct, and more you have to internalize it and even become the satipatthana, the foundation of mindfulness. So that the sati, the mindfulness, the different grade of sati. And the first one is a sati of basically to keep your mind in the wholesome object. The fact that you keep the precept, you have to have a sati. But that sati might not be enough to do the Mahasatipatthana. That is the next step. When you use the sati to be really keep in track with the mind, you keep the mind on that particular object, either the body's feelings, mind, and Dhamma. So that is almost a more upgraded version of sati. But you need the foundation. You need to have a precept. If you don't have a precept, it's no hope for you to do the for foundation of mindfulness, because even the mindfulness to keep yourself on the training rule, you don't have that. Then how can you have the higher level? But if you already have the 5 precepts there, then your sati is ready to the next step, where is now you are training. Put your mind on the mind, on the body. Body you can read in the Satipatthana Sutta. There's different steps. You can focus on the breathing, on the posture, or these 4 elements, or whatever. So many training that you can do, and then put it to the feeling. Keep track of your own, either the sad feeling, the unpleasant feeling, present feelings, and or neutral feeling, and the mind, the 16 state of mind. You can keep track of that, whether I have greed or not greed, anger or not anger, all those things. And the last one is the Dhamma. When you start to analyze it, not in terms of the person, but in terms of the Dhamma now. First, you start with the 5 hindrances, which is the most basic. You have to know the enemy first. That is the obstruction, the nivarana. So there's 5 of this. The craving for sensual pleasure, the ill will, the sloth and torpor, the restless and remorse, and the last one is doubt. So this is the 5 hindrances that we have to be aware and train ourselves. And then after that, then the khanda, the 5 khanda, the aggregate, and the ayatana, the 6 sense basis, and then pochonga, the factor of enlightenment. So when you have these 3, when you have pochonga, then you're ready for the Four Noble Truth, which is the suffering, arising suffering, cessation, and the path. So this is the Dhamma that is come afterward. So it's like step and step, more intensify. The sati is more able to be in line with your training, all starting from sila. So the sila is the first step, but it's not end with that. So not just to be content, I'm have my 5 precepts is pure. It's still a long way to go. You still have, okay, good, you have a pure 5 precepts, but that's just the beginning. You still have a lot of job to do. Now you're free. You don't have to worry about remorse of breaking the precept, but there's still, you have to train the level of mindfulness. The mindfulness to keep the precept is very basic. You go up higher. The mindfulness of try to keep the mind, the sati with the body, feelings, mind, and the Dhamma in such a way that training in the Masatipatthana Sutta, and then until the sati is become stronger, and then it's ready to go up to the Four Noble Truth. So that when it's upgraded into supramundane sati, called Mahasati, or the sati that is the factor of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the supramundane, and they will be able to take the Nibbana as the object. So that is the whole training of the mind, and the sati is the crucial one. But it's like I say, sati has many different levels. First of all, okay, you want to keep your area within the wholesome first. So the unwholesome thing is you cut it right away. It's no point of playing with it at all. Anything that unwholesome, drop it right away. Even you have a wholesome, there's still many levels of wholesome. So that's why the Buddha said, don't content with just the wholesome thing that you have. You have to strive for higher. As far as you don't get any makkapala, then you can't lay back and okay, I have enough, because it's not safe. It's like you have the water, you heat it up, so it get heat, maybe 60 degrees, 70, 80 degrees, but when you stop heating it, it go back again, and the germ is still there, all those spore and things that it can, anytime it's cool down, the germ can just pop right back. So you have to intensify your sati, like going up to 80 degrees, 85, 90, 95, until 100, until it boil. Boil, that means now it's become steam and it go up. So it's become super mundane now. Now it's free now. Anything in that, any germ, any spore, whatever, will die out at this temperature. And actually the molecule of water is changing into the air, and then distill become that. So the simile here, or metaphor, is like you have to go to that level, not to lag in between. You have to boil the water until it's heat up and it boil. Same thing is the mind have to go to the supramundane and makkapala. Only then when you completely cut the kilesa and not have to to be under influence of that again. Okay? You uproot the cause. So that's why when you have arahant, you go beyond good and bad, because you become kariya. It's just an action. It's no consequence anymore, because you already been through the training. So that's why the Buddha, only one condition the Buddha said, I already press one thing, just to be you better yourself in terms of wholesome. I not even if you have certain wholesome and you happy with that and you stop practicing further, the Buddha recommend it's not proper. You should strive toward higher. As far as you're not getting Makkapala, there's still the path for you to go. So in Buddhism, it's very systematic way of training your mind in different area. So it's good to find a community to practice, and then stick with the schedules. Having the Ubosita day, having the day that we devote full time on practice, having the community, having the Kalyanamitta, the friend who can give us a feedback, is very precious, and it will not last that long. Only 5,000 years is not that long. So try our best to practice. We have a opportunity this life to be born as human being. We have these 5 khanda. We equipped with everything that we can do. We have a teacher. We have a complete Dhamma. It's very profound Dhamma, and the Sangha is still there. So so use this opportunity well, and all of this range, people might have their determination. So this is the time for you to review that. What goal that I achieve, what I maybe what work that I can do more. So this is a good time for contemplate, and can use this opportunity to ask the feedback from your friends and your spouse or whatever, and try to use that as information to improve yourself, and not happy with what you are, but try to strive for more and more. Actually, the Buddha said the fact that he become the Buddha is because such that he not content with this kusala. He always strive for more kusala. He content with the 4 requisites because there's no end to it. So you content with the simple living, just enough food, enough shelter, enough clothing, enough medicine. That's good enough, and we can devote our time and energy pursuing the higher goal, higher training, higher mindfulness. Okay, so maybe I offer this Dhamma for the Mahapavarana Day. May all of you stay healthy, be free from all those illness, and use your time well. We don't know how many weeks or months before the next wave of illness, pandemic will come back again. So you'll be living a life in such a way that not negligence, but always alert and be prepared. And if times come, when we can say to ourselves, we have done the best we can. So we not regret at all, whatever we can done, we do that. So when the times come, we can able to say to ourselves, we have done the best, and now it's time to go, and we continue on. If we're not practicing, finish in this life, we'll continue on next life. Okay, so I offer this reflection to you all.
Andamayang Dhamma Kataya Sadhu Karang Dadamase Sadhu 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 Anumodami.
Okay, so I already answered most of the questions. So if people want to post the question on the Zoom, they can do. But next week I will not be here. I have to go for the Katina in my friend in Chiang Rai. So I will be leading the meditation course there. So on this next Friday I will not be here, but the next Friday I will come back. Okay, all right.